The majority of people don't fail because they lack ability, but because they lack the inner confidence to use what they already possess. They live trapped inside a loop of self-doubt and criticism, like a record that never stops skipping. Imagine this. You're trying to drive with the handbrake on. You move forward, yes, but with constant friction and unnecessary strain. Carl Jung would say that the first task of transformation is to release that inner brake, to stop resisting your own potential and allow your deeper self to take the wheel. What I want today is simple, to show you step by step how to silence that inner saboteur and build a genuine belief in yourself. This isn't blind faith, it's conscious training, a deliberate act of awareness. Your mind is a fertile garden, and every thought you plant becomes a seed that will sooner or later grow. If every day you sow insecurity, doubt will take root. But if you sow self-compassion and determination, inner confidence will flourish. Your past, your environment, or your mistakes don't decide the kind of seeds you can plant right now. And that's the good news. You can pull out the weeds of self-sabotage and plant new seeds today without waiting for anyone's approval or a perfect moment that doesn't exist. When I speak of self-trust, I'm not referring to a Sunday motivational quote. I'm talking about turning it into a daily practice as natural as brushing your teeth. Confidence doesn't appear by accident. It's built, reinforced, and eventually becomes automatic. In this journey, there are no empty theories or cliches to hang on your wall. What you'll find here are clear methods, living metaphors, and practical strategies to reprogram your mind, to act, to move forward, to stop postponing your potential. Together, we'll explore essential contrasts: self-love versus destructive self-criticism, decisive action versus paralysis by analysis, emotional independence versus toxic dependence. Recognizing these opposites will help you see where you stand and what subtle shifts you need to make to move toward your highest version. Faith in yourself isn't a luxury. It's a strategic choice that transforms performance and quality of life. Every time you choose a thought, you choose a destiny. It might sound exaggerated, but it's true. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions drive your decisions, and your decisions create your results. That's why confidence is more than a pleasant feeling. It's the root of every productive action and every lasting achievement. You can't control the world, politics, or circumstances, but you can control the story you tell yourself about what happens to you. It doesn't matter how many times you failed or how often you've been told you can't. What matters is that you choose to believe from this moment forward. Think of your mind as a program. If you keep running outdated software, you'll face delays, errors, and frustration. But if you install updated beliefs, your system runs smoothly, and you are the programmer. No one else can rewrite your code for you. It's your responsibility and your chance. What's fascinating is that once you change your internal dialogue, your body language transforms. You walk differently, speak differently, and make decisions with greater clarity, and people notice. Opportunities begin to appear because you've become someone who moves through the world with certainty. It's like shifting from static to a clear, powerful frequency, and others naturally tune into it. Before we move on, I invite you to do something powerful. Write in the comments, "Today, I choose to believe in myself without excuses." This isn't just a phrase. It's your first declaration of inner commitment. By writing it, you plant the seed of a new perception. The way you see yourself begins to evolve. This sentence is the key that unlocks everything that follows. Believing in yourself isn't arrogance or vanity, it's an act of deep honesty with your own potential. Acknowledging your value even when no one else does. Many confuse confidence with arrogance, and out of fear of appearing proud, they shrink their own light. But true confidence doesn't shout or demand. It simply breathes in the calmness of your presence. It's the quiet foundation upon which every other part of your life is built. The doubts that live in you today weren't born with you. No child comes into the world believing they are unworthy or incapable. Those beliefs were planted little by little through words, gestures, experiences, and judgments that shaped your perception. Parents, teachers, bosses, friends, society itself, all left marks in your mind. Some inspired you, others planted fear, guilt, or the feeling of not being enough. Understanding this is liberation because it means that if those ideas once entered, they can also be removed. When you realize your insecurities are learned, you understand they are not your identity. They're just old files stored in the subconscious. And just like any program, your inner system can be updated. You can decide which files to keep and which to erase. That single realization is already an act of power. You shift from being a victim of your story to becoming the conscious editor of your internal narrative. A practical way to begin is to observe your automatic thoughts. What do you tell yourself when you face a challenge? What phrases arise when you make a mistake? Those phrases are clues to your hidden beliefs. And if you discover that they are old recordings, I'm not enough, I don't deserve it, I can't, don't treat them as truth, treat them as background noise you can mute and rewrite. Remember this: your thoughts are not commands, they are choices. Each idea that appears in your mind is only a suggestion. You hold the final word. You decide whether to accept it or discard it. Most people react to their thoughts as if they were divine decrees. But when you understand that they're merely proposals, you take your power back. That's the difference between living on autopilot and living consciously. To replace inherited beliefs, you need two things: awareness and repetition. Awareness to detect them and repetition to install new ones. Imagine your mind as an untended garden. At first, you must pull out the weeds, those limiting thoughts, and then plant new seeds, thoughts of strength and possibility. But planting once is not enough. You must water them daily. This is how a new neural pattern is formed, how authentic confidence is built. In this process, it is essential to ask yourself, whose voice is this that I hear inside my head? Often, when we harshly criticize ourselves, we are only repeating the words of someone from our past. When you recognize this, that voice loses its authority. It is no longer an inner judge. It becomes just an echo, and an echo fades when you stop feeding it with attention. By doing so, you create space for your real voice, the one that believes in you, the one that wants to see you move forward. To believe in yourself, as Carl Jung explained, is ultimately an act of personal responsibility. You cannot control what you were taught, but you can control what you choose to believe from this moment on. Every time you choose a thought of confidence over one of doubt, you take a step toward mental freedom. It is a daily training that transforms your posture, your actions, and your results. That is the first conscious step toward truly believing in yourself. When you look in the mirror each morning, you are not merely observing a physical reflection. You are witnessing the external representation of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional state. The mirror is a silent reminder of who you have decided to be up to that moment. The way you look at yourself reveals the nature of your relationship with your inner world. If your inner dialogue is full of criticism, you will inevitably see flaws. If your inner dialogue is respectful, you will begin to discover possibilities and resources within your own image. The mirror functions as an emotional thermometer. If you rush past it without truly looking, you might be avoiding something deeper. But if you take a moment to observe yourself consciously, you begin to connect with your true identity. This simple practice demonstrates a powerful principle. The way you perceive yourself in the morning becomes the script you will act out for the rest of the day. A negative inner language creates a closed posture and low energy. A positive inner language awakens openness and confidence. The reflection you see is not static. It is a stage under construction. Each habit, each thought, each decision leaves its mark on that face and that posture. This is why training your mind to speak with respect and firmness has an immediate effect on your body. When you say, "I am capable," your muscles relax, your shoulders straighten, and your expression brightens. It isn't magic, it's biology. The brain responds to words as if they were instructions, and the body executes the program. Now imagine this: every morning the mirror is your stage and you are both the actor and the director. What script do you wish to rehearse before stepping into the world? If you repeat the lines of self-criticism, you will end up playing the role of insecurity. But if you rehearse lines of strength, you will walk out embodying your best self. This metaphor helps you understand that you are not condemned to see yourself the same way forever. You can rewrite the script before every daily performance. Testing this is simple yet powerful. Look at yourself, smile, and speak an empowering affirmation aloud. At first, it might feel strange or unnecessary, but repetition turns it into an emotional anchor. Each time you declare something positive before the mirror, you reinforce neural connections linked to confidence and self-esteem. Over time, your mind begins to believe what your mouth says, and your body reflects it through gestures, tone, and attitude. This habit, though it may seem small, is one of the most effective tools in personal mastery. It is not about vanity or superficiality. It is about inner alignment. When your words, posture, and image are in harmony, you send a clear message to the world. I respect myself. I prepare myself. I am ready. That alignment opens doors. That inconsistency closes because people naturally trust those who appear centered and confident. The mirror also offers immediate feedback. If one day you look and notice exhaustion, apathy, or disconnection, instead of ignoring it, ask yourself, what thought am I feeding that makes me feel this way? That question brings you back to your power. You don't have to punish yourself for looking different. You only need to adjust your inner dialogue and your outer habits to reclaim your energy. It's a daily exercise of self-leadership that transforms your perception and therefore your results. Every time you look in the mirror, remember this. You're not just seeing your appearance, you're witnessing your identity under construction. You can choose to be your harshest critic or your most loyal coach. If you choose the latter, every glance becomes a moment of mental reprogramming. Those seconds accumulated day after day shape not only how you look, but how you feel and how you move through the world. That is the true power of the mirror as a metaphor for identity. Confidence isn't a gift that arrives when everything is in order. It's a direct consequence of acting even when you don't feel ready. Waiting to feel prepared is a mental trap. In reality, it's action that creates readiness. Each small step proves to yourself that you are capable. It's like starting a cold engine. At first it resists, but once it's running, the motion becomes natural. Every time you delay, you feed doubt. Procrastination is fertilizer for fear and insecurity. Your mind begins to associate your goal with discomfort and threat, making each new attempt harder to begin. But every time you decide to act, even when nothing feels certain, you strengthen your faith in yourself. Action is the natural antidote to emotional and mental paralysis. Most people believe confidence is a prerequisite for action, when in truth, it's the result of it. Like a muscle that grows with use, self-confidence strengthens through practice. So next time you feel afraid, don't wait for fear to vanish. Move with it. You'll discover that fear fades in the same proportion that your activity increases. Imagine your goals as a building. Each small action is a brick you lay in that structure. Maybe today you can only place one brick, but tomorrow you'll lay two. And by the end of the week, you'll have a solid foundation where once there were only blueprints. This vision helps you understand that no action is insignificant if it aligns with your purpose. Small steps, when added together, become something great. Write down 3 small actions you can take today to move closer to your goal. They don't need to be spectacular or complex. It could be making a call, reading a chapter, sending an email, or practicing a skill for 15 minutes. What matters is that you do them. Each completed task is a vote in favor of your identity as a proactive, confident person. The contrast is clear. When you stay still waiting for motivation to arrive, life grows heavier and problems expand. But when you move, even without desire, energy shifts. Action generates clarity, and clarity opens new opportunities. This isn't theory. Carl Jung saw it in countless people around the world. The difference between those who move forward and those who stay behind isn't talent. It's the habit of action. Acting, even in small ways, takes you out of victim mode and places you in creator mode. Paralysis says, I can't. Action says, I'm on my way. That difference in inner dialogue changes your posture, your tone, and how others perceive you. People trust those who move, not those who wait. Always remember this. Confidence is built through doing. If today you take one step, even a small one, tomorrow your faith in yourself will be stronger. And every step you take is a silent message to your mind. I can, I choose, I move forward. That's how you turn doubt into strength and insecurity into momentum. That is the essence of breaking paralysis and becoming someone who acts with determination. When you observe great athletes, you'll notice that they don't just train their bodies in the gym. They also train their minds every single day. Before competing, they close their eyes and see themselves winning, crossing the finish line, executing the perfect move. This practice is not an empty ritual. It's a proven mechanism to program their nervous system and strengthen their confidence. You can do the same with your personal and professional goals. Visualization is not daydreaming, it's a mental rehearsal of success that prepares you to execute it in reality. The mind does not clearly distinguish between an intensely imagined experience and a real one. When you repeat a powerful image, your brain creates the same neural connections as if you were already living it. That's why 5 minutes of focused visualization each day can have a deeper impact than hours of scattered thinking. Every visualization session is like invisible training that strengthens your self-confidence and sense of direction. When you close your eyes to practice, don't just see the scene, feel it. Notice in detail how you look, how you breathe, what sensations move through your body. Listen to the sounds, smell the air, feel the texture of the moment. The richer the sensory experience you build in your mind, the stronger the map you imprint in your subconscious. It's like giving your mind an emotional GPS that guides you even in moments of doubt. By repeating this image, you create a mental map. That map becomes an anchor that guides you when things don't go as planned. Instead of getting lost in confusion, your mind remembers the direction and regains its course. It's like a pilot who knows his route even through turbulence. That clarity brings calm and confidence, two fundamental ingredients for effective action. The contrast is obvious. A person without visualization is like a ship without a compass, drifting and easily carried away by the current. But someone who practices daily visualization moves with purpose. Even when obstacles appear, their focus doesn't waver. That's the difference between those who merely try and those who achieve their goals with determination. 5 minutes of visualization a day is more than enough to begin. You don't need complex rituals or hours of meditation. What matters is consistency and the quality of the image you create. If every day you see yourself achieving your goal, your subconscious will begin to recognize and attract the opportunities that bring you closer to that vision. What once went unnoticed will now stand out before you. You can also complement visualization with present tense affirmations. For example, while imagining your goal accomplished, repeat phrases like, I am capable, I succeed, my mind is focused. These words are the verbal fuel of the mental image. Together, they form a powerful combination that reprograms your identity and propels you to act in alignment with that new version of yourself. Remember, training your mind is just as vital as training your body. Just as a muscle needs repetition to grow stronger, your self-confidence needs daily practice to expand. Each time you visualize your success, you remove layers of doubt and build layers of certainty. That is the essence of mental training. Preparing your mind to win before stepping onto the playing field of life. One of the greatest obstacles to believing in yourself is the habit of living behind masks. When you constantly strive to please, fit in, or appear as someone you're not, you send a silent message to your subconscious. My true self isn't enough. That message is devastating to your self-esteem. Every time you act against what you truly feel or think out of fear of rejection, you weaken your inner confidence, even if it seems easier in the moment. The problem with masks is that in the short term they might bring acceptance, but in the long term they create emptiness. It's like wearing a costume to earn temporary applause only to be left with the hollow feeling of not being truly seen. Masks drain your emotional energy and force you to maintain a role that doesn't belong to you. That inner tension is one of the most common causes of anxiety and low self-worth. Choosing authenticity is an act of courage. It doesn't mean being rebellious or confrontational. It means acting in harmony with your values and needs. Every time you express an honest opinion, every time you say no to something that doesn't align with you, you reaffirm to your mind that your voice matters. That daily coherence builds an internal core of strength that no longer depends on external approval. Think of authenticity as a muscle. If you never exercise it, it weakens. But if each day you choose one small area to show your true self, that muscle grows stronger. It can be as simple as dressing the way you truly like, changing how you present yourself, or sharing your own thoughts in a meeting. Each small act of authenticity is a micro-training for your self-confidence. When you start living authentically, you'll feel a profound shift in your energy. You no longer waste emotional resources maintaining a persona. That liberation gives you new strength to pursue your goals. People may or may not approve, but you'll know you're aligned with yourself. That internal alignment is one of the strongest accelerators of genuine self-confidence. The contrast is clear. Masks promise quick acceptance, but steal your essence. Authenticity may bring initial discomfort, but it returns your personal power. In the realm of self-esteem, there are no shortcuts. You either pay the price of a false self or invest in building a true one. And the investment in your authenticity always pays the highest dividends. Moreover, when you are authentic, you inspire trust in others. People sense coherence. They know even without words who acts from truth and who acts from disguise. Being authentic not only makes you feel better about yourself, it also attracts healthier relationships, more aligned opportunities, and an environment where you can grow without exhausting yourself pretending. Remember, authenticity is not achieved overnight, it's trained. Each time you choose to be faithful to yourself, you tell your mind, I am worthy as I am. That repeated and lived message becomes the foundation of unshakable self-belief. When you remove the masks and show up as you truly are, your self-confidence doesn't just improve, it expands. Because at last you're building your life on solid ground, not fragile fake ads. Just as no one questions the importance of good nutrition to keep the body healthy, few stop to realize that the mind also needs nourishment. Every piece of news you consume, every conversation you engage in, and every image you absorb from social media are forms of mental food. If you feed on emotional garbage every day, your mind weakens and your confidence deteriorates. Carl Jung taught that the first key to self-trust is to become aware of what you allow to enter your inner world. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you constantly throw waste, weeds, and harmful chemicals into it, that garden cannot bloom. But if you water it with clean water, sunlight, and nutrients, flowers will inevitably grow. It's the same with your thoughts and beliefs. You cannot expect to harvest optimism, clarity, and confidence if you keep planting fear, complaint, and hopelessness in your mental soil every day. So, here's a powerful challenge. 30 days of positive mental diet. During this time, you'll become a conscious guardian of what enters your mind. You'll carefully choose what you read, what you watch, who you speak to, and what you give your attention to. This isn't about living in a bubble or denying reality. It's about strengthening your mind so it can face reality from a place of inner power, not weakness. Through this process, you'll start noticing how many sources of mental pollution you had normalized. News that constantly promotes fear, social media filled with drama, or friends who complain endlessly. By becoming aware of that consumption, you'll realize you have the power to choose, and that daily choice is an act of self-respect. You're silently saying, my peace of mind is worth more than this dose of negativity. As you replace toxic content with inspiring information and uplifting people, you'll begin to notice subtle yet profound changes. Your inner dialogue will soften, your energy will stabilize, and your vision of the future will grow brighter. You'll no longer be swept away by the collective current of complaint. Instead, you'll be the one setting the tone of your day. That sense of control becomes one of the strongest foundations of self-confidence. Jung would remind us that a positive mental diet isn't about superficial motivation, it's psychological hygiene. Just as you wouldn't let rotten food enter your body, you shouldn't allow toxic ideas to enter your mind unchecked. By training yourself in this practice, you're developing mental strength, the kind that keeps you firm even when life's circumstances turn against you. The contrast is clear. If you constantly feed on fear-based news, your vision of the world shrinks. But if you nurture your mind with ideas and examples that inspire, your perception expands. One paralyzes you, the other mobilizes you. One drains your energy, the other recharges it. Each day you practice this mental discipline, you reinforce the inner message that you deserve to think and feel expansively, that you have the right to protect your peace. After 30 days of conscious mental nourishment, you'll notice that believing in yourself will no longer be a conscious effort. It will become your natural state. Because when you stop intoxicating your mind, your true inner strength rises with greater power than ever before. Believing in yourself isn't a single moment, it's a daily choice. It's waking up and deciding today I'll be my ally, not my enemy. That repeated decision shapes a powerful identity that no one can take away from you. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you begin. Start now with what you have, where you are. Every directed thought is a brick in the foundation of your new life. Every small action declares that you take yourself seriously. Remember, your external life mirrors your inner world. If you feed your mind with faith, hope, and discipline, those same elements will appear in your reality. It isn't magic, it's cause and effect. What you plant inside multiplies outside. So today, take that first step. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say out loud, I believe in myself and I act accordingly. Write it in the comments to make it real. Do it for yourself. Do it to begin training your mind today. What do you think has held you back the most so far? Your real limitations or your limiting thoughts?